is when you're going through a change, you can't really see, I mean, no one, at least I can't see the other side. So it's always a tough decision on making a decision on, hey, is this the right change, or is this gonna, or am I gonna have to double back on this? But I'm curious to hear, like, you going through it, you seeing something, whatever it is. I mean, what's helping you make that change into seeing, the better days ahead?
Look, hell of an intro. I tell you what you info, but I never really been the type of dude to give no info. But if you see your ends low and you trying to get a benzo, I'll give your ass some game that'll change the way that you think, bro. Super skilled with the pencil, super ill in my mental. I reminisce on life, I'm nice, here's my memento. Get it through your tempo, I get on any tempo and give it all I got. I'm hot, I got like 10 flows, trying to live on the 10th floor, across from residentials that I own. My mind stayed grown, I used to think clothes, I really used to think hoes and what I do to get those, and then I switched it up, I'm only thinking potential.
What's up, everyone? It's Ronnie Polonius and Francis Fan, and welcome to the realest show on the planet of Earth, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're going to essentially hear it all. So if you're ever looking for some sort of motivation, inspiration, or guidance, you're in the right place. We make it our mission to make sure we can give you a place where you can consistently walk and grow. And the show begins. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Better than I was yesterday. I'm still in the womb, but better than I was yesterday.
You're still in the what? It sounded like you said the womb.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What does that actually mean?
Being in the womb?
Yeah, because I understand it from the concept of when a child is born, but I don't understand what you're saying. But
To me, it's going through a change, going through transformation before, beginning something new.
Mm-hmm. And this is very interesting that you started off this way. It's almost like you knew exactly what to say to kick things off here. Because really today's episode is going to be about change and just understanding self and identifying and realizing when it's time for a change. I'm curious to hear a little bit more about what exactly you're going through, if you don't mind sharing.
What I'm going through? No, I'm not going through anything. How can I say? Anything that the eye can comprehend. It's more of an internal work that needs to be done. And it's good stuff. It's all positive things. Nothing to, to be worried about or concerned about. It's just exciting stuff that are ahead, and I'm preparing myself for the game. Like a player, you're not going to practice during the game. You're never going to practice during the game. So right now is my time to practice. The game is right around the corner. I see it. And when it's showtime, it's showtime. That's what I mean by I'm in the womb right now.
Gotcha. Like AI said, you talking about practice?
Yeah.
But now I think because again, I kind of want this to be an exercise for other individuals to, and I'll chime in, obviously as well, because I've been through change in several different aspects of my life. But for those individuals listening, I kind of want to talk about, how do you kind of go about identifying when is something the right change for you? Because I know sometimes, I mean, I can't speak for others, but I can speak for myself on this one, is when you're going through a change, you can't really see, I mean, no one, at least I can't see the other side. So it's always a tough decision on making a decision on, hey, is this the right change, or is this gonna, or am I gonna have to double back on this? But I'm curious to hear, like, you going through it, you seeing something, whatever it is. I mean, what's helping you make that change into seeing, the better days ahead?
Identifying the patterns. You see certain things that keep coming up. It's a sign that it needs to be addressed because it wasn't properly addressed the first time around. So when you see things like that, it's an obvious sign for change, right? Whether it's in your personal life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's at work, whether it's, anywhere you are, really.
Like, are you talking about like good patterns, bad patterns? Like, what are
identifying
you
patterns, being aware of yourself and aware of how things are being presented to you. I strongly believe that there's always a message behind the things that we do and the things that we encounter. It's the message is personal.
Mm.
I can't tell you what that will mean to you. It's up to you to follow the omens, like they say in The Alchemist. So in order to find the treasure, you must follow the omens. So the omens of your life, what are they? And it's basically, by that I mean all those clue that are being left in front of you. What are
Hmm.
you doing with those?
Okay, that's interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
because you feel, we feel it on the emotional level where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, but the underlying patterns have been there all along. You just avoided them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when it's trying to remind you that something needs to be done about this. Now, don't just push it under the rug type thing.
Gotcha.
That's when you got to change. That's like when you got, whether it's in a situation or any scenario, you will know when you see it.
Gotcha.
It's
Gotcha.
up to you to either push it, but best believe when you push it, it comes back even 10 times harder.
Hmm.
So
Gotcha. I mean, we kind of skipped a step there, and we talked about immediate. I feel like we talked immediate about like how to identify. Um,
bro, you asked me and I was ready, man.
no, and that's fair. No, that was a bad alley oop on my end. But I would ask first though, is that your passion that is not in the way, but is that your passion allowing you to see those clues, or is there something beforehand that's allowing you to see these clues? That's kind of what I'm trying to identify and help the person listening here is, it's something, it has to be there first in order for you to be able to see the clues or find those almonds, as you mentioned, um, to identify if it's right or not for you. So is there something beforehand that is allowing you to see something?
Basically, let me put it this way. I strongly believe that we all have a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disregard the passion thing, because passion is basically something that you're trying to convince yourself of. That's in my opinion. But purpose is different. This is something that you've been put here to do. And at some point in your life, you will realize that. And if you don't, you must be walking a completely different path. Once you realize that, it's up to you to realize, okay, which magnitude do I want to take it? Do I just want to do it on a superficial level, and just like be in the background, or do I really want to dive deep in it and really have an impact
Yeah.
with that purpose of yours? Now, for those who have identified that purpose, they become successful and to do the things that they have to do. But it doesn't just benefit them; it impacts society in general, right? That's because they've identified what works for them, what that calling was.
Mm.
Now, for an individual like who doesn't know, you're just gonna keep going in a loop. And I think the foundation with that is just it's really knowing yourself, who you are first, before you even worry about getting into, what it is that your passion is,
Or your purpose.
or your purpose. Right.
Okay. I mean, that's really good there. It's allowing yourself really understand yourself, and I think that's crucial there. I can't really tell you how I think I found my purpose. I can only share with you stories that got me closer to what I believe is my purpose. And I think it's an everyday search. I personally, maybe I'm on the wrong path. Who knows? We'll find out when that time comes, when something shakes my head a little bit and I can see the light a little bit clearer. But as far as what and the reason why I'm going to bring this story up is because I think it's important for people to identify, like, it's not something that you just sit down with yourself and I think it's just a light bulb is gonna come off. You're gonna find likes and common and interests that you have, and which is gonna help you identify, all right, this is what I truly enjoy doing. And I could definitely say when I was in the corporate environment, I just felt myself not really having a voice. And that's when I knew right then and there, me not having a voice, this is hurting me more than anything, because I think, not to say that I want my voice to be always to be heard, but it's one of those things is, if someone brings up an idea, and this is kind of how I would approach it. If someone brings up an idea or something, anything, something to help the process, I would hope that person is considerate and, just trying to listen on the other end, because that's exactly what I would do. However, that was never the case in the environment that I was in, which is why I just felt like, just myself kind of going further deeper every single time I would, voice something. And I'm not a shy person. So if I have to voice an opinion, you're sure enough going to hear my voice, whether you, you like it, whether I care if you like it or not. And that is what helped me. I would definitely say identified my purposes. I had to now figure out how is it that I can have a voice and actually have that voice be impactful to something else. And so obviously making that transition away from that corporate life was a tough one, but it's one that I knew that I had to make for myself in order for my peace of mind and my sanity, essentially. Because we're all going through it. Some things are just not meant to be. And once you can identify that, whatever that thing is, I think then you can move forward from it. But I'm curious, do you have any story or anything that you could share on, for instance, that helped you find your purpose, your passion?
Did you say you found your purpose or you did not? Because I'm at the beginning, I thought you said you didn't find it yet, and then you said you found it.
No, I would say I believe I found it, but unless if I'm going down the wrong lane, then I haven't yet. That's what I'm really saying. Is I believe I have, but there's no real telling unless if something else comes in and just kind of really sheds some more light on what exactly that is. But I'm not actively searching for it. That's one thing I definitely am not
Gotcha.
doing. I'm
Okay.
not sitting down with myself and trying to find my purpose. No, I'm more or less just looking at things that are common likes, interests, and things that I enjoy doing. That's really my core focus.
You're in the womb.
I mean, I think we're always there then.
Not always. There's a point in time where you need to get out and actually go get start applying this stuff. But in terms of story for me, I don't think I have an immediate story that oh, you were asking a story about purpose.
Yeah, like
Listen to previous episodes, man. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Go listen to previous episode. That's been brought up multiple times. But if we were to stay on this topic, I think change is something that's the only thing that's permanent. And when you understand that, it gives you a sense of peace, acceptance that things are bound to change. It's how you prepare yourself, and before and afterwards, how you handle the situation and how you move forward. That's why it's important to have your identity roots very deep. They allow you to not fall when the wind comes. If you think of a tree, the deeper the roots, the more stable you will be.
Essentially, I mean, I would even say like good choices creates opportunities. Sometimes I don't know so much of bad choices will create it, because I don't know. It all depends on what exactly is being made at that point. But ultimately, I personally would say good choices, as long as, of course, they help you and your benefit towards what exactly that you're trying to do, then it should only help, because essentially what you're creating at the same time is good habits. And the moment you create habits, you're going to find things along your journey, because again, a habit is you consistently doing something. So if it's a change is needed and you actually make that change and you actually start implementing good habits along the way, you're going to find ways to go ahead and enhance it to make it a little bit better, and obviously increase the intensity of it to make sure that you are getting the results that you need.
Actually, I just thought of something. I actually have a whole lot of stories from just this year alone in terms of change, because there's a lot of things that needed to change from my diet. You can start with the diet. You can start with just the way I have conversation with people, just the way I see things as well, because there was a lot of unlearning that needed to be done in order to create space for new things. And that's part of change. And it's always ongoing. So yeah, that's, I guess, an example.
And I like what you just said, though. You have to unlearn and then you have to relearn. I feel like a lot of the things we were taught, at least I had to unlearn them, just because it's that way of living. Now there's a new way, in my opinion, and the way that I'm operating, there's a new way of living. It's like the New Testament, right? Everyone, it's everyone has that phase of you're unlearning the things that you were once taught to then go ahead and relearn the things that you now want to learn. And that's just the cycle of life, I think. And like you said, part of change. It's nothing we can really do. You know, that I think that process is never fun, but I think once you make it to the other side, there's always brighter days ahead. I think the tough part for some may be actually seeing what's ahead and or being too far into the future. And like Francis will say, as he says to me all the time, be present. So that would be my great key advice to give to anyone, because again, I'm that individual. So you're hearing it from someone that actually does that a lot. It's always looks ahead, thinks ahead, tries to plan for ahead. And then I always remind myself, hey, where are you today? Where are you right now? Let's stay there first, and let's focus on what we could do today to change or to help whatever is to come. So don't overly stress yourself out. If you're looking at change or you're trying to figure yourself out, you're just trying to understand what the hell is going on. Understand what is going on today, and I think you can take it there from there.
That's a good point. I'm curious to know if you have a list of things that you would like to change in the next few years.
For myself,
Yeah.
I would, if anything, I would change is be a little bit more intentional, and my habits. I want my habits to be a little bit more, not to say my habits are bad, but I could be a little bit more organized in terms of, how things actually are structurally done. And I think just having an understanding of what it is and what those habits look like, I'll be fine. I mean, that is good. That shouldn't take me an entire year. It should take me literally 3 months to do, just to kind of get everything in order. But if anything, I would say is, again, just kind of being organized, having better habits, and being structured, I would say, more than anything. Just so that can allow me to be a little bit more consistent. And then once I'm able to be consistent, I can add more intensity to it to amplify the message even more.
That's good. It's good. It's good that you already identified that.
You have anything that you're looking to change or looking to work on? I mean,
see, the thing is, my answer today will not be the same answer in a week or two, because I could be out the womb by then. And if I'm out, that's a whole different type of change we're talking about. So,
well, but that's the thing. That's okay. Because if you're sharing what you got to share today,
actually,
you
when
could
I'm
then,
out, not if. But yeah, go ahead.
if you're sharing what you're sharing today, and then you're able to re-listen to this, and you can actually see exactly what you were thinking at that moment, that could even bring even 10 times more clarity in terms of whatever it is that you're seeking for.
It's I don't have a one answer, so that's hard for me to tell you which one it is.
Tell us your favorite
We're
one.
just gonna have to leave that as a mystery for now.
This is the mystery guy. He doesn't want to tell you where he lives or where he's born or where he's from. Now he doesn't want to tell you.
Dude, I'm yeah, it's a mystery. We'll touch on that at some point. I think it's one that has been kind of the theme this year of, if I was to give one of my character or one of my habits a like comeback player of the year award, it would be vulnerability. It's something that it kind of like wasn't part of the scope ever in the past. It was you will do it without knowing it, but being aware to just that concept allowed me to just be more genuine with people, right? And with myself, most importantly. It opens another certain level of, I guess we can call it, peace. I've been really vibing with that lately. So I guess if it was to change it a bit more, just stay consistent with that. I think that's really where I'm at with that. But yeah, I hope that's helpful in any way.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned being vulnerable. I don't know. I know you, and I know how you speak, so I would definitely say that was a tough thing to get out. It sounded like, at least.
No, it wasn't. Because I'm at peace with it. So it's like, it doesn't change who I am. I'm still gonna be me. I'm still gonna
Hmm.
do what I want to do and co-create in this world the way I want to co-create. So it's like it doesn't matter. If it's gonna help somebody, go out there and just release it.
Gotcha. But
And the most important thing, it actually helps you, the person, first.
yeah.
When you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're able to speak about it, you're able to listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
But also, I want everyone to kind of realize that this is something that
But be
you should be
careful with who you
doing.
share things. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, you can, but whoever you share things to, if you can't let it affect you, but
I'm gonna stop making percent in the air, bro. Anyway, go ahead. You didn't hear anything.
But I would just say that for everyone that's really listening, these are exercise and these are things that you don't even have to do when you're going through change. I think just doing these kind of exercise and understanding yourself is important. And as we're approaching the end of the year, this is typically when at least this is when I would go ahead and start reflecting and doing a lot of that rather than doing it in the beginning of the year. At that point in time, it's, in my opinion, a little too late. The year already started. So you want to plan, you want to kind of have a plan ahead. And I know, as I said, be present, but this is one of those moments where I think planning ahead is very important. You can vouch or let me know if I'm wrong, for instance, but identifying, this is the time to now identify, like, all right, let's self-reflect. Let's understand who we are. And if there is a change ahead, what does that change look like for yourself? Again, it's not always going to be fun, but I think the key thing is when a change is occurring, I think the best part that can happen from it, or at least what you should actually be doing, is be interested in it. Don't make a change and then just be like, oh man, why did I do this? This is the worst thing. I hate it. And I mean, that at that point in time, that change wasn't ready. You weren't ready for that change at that point in time, or you just didn't understand what exactly entitled that's. But I would say, all in all, be interested in it. The process is never going to be fun. Change is never always great. There's always going to be obstacles along the way, but you've got to be interested in it. If you're not interested, then there's no way in hell you're going to stick without, or at least you're going to enjoy that process. But with that being said, this is an opportunity for you to take responsibility of your own life, of the things that are occurring in your day to day. Don't allow anyone to take your shine, take your light away. Because I will say, and this is one thing I've learned the hard way, that no one is going to save you. It's all on you. All eyes are going to end up turning on you. Everyone's going to look at you. You may have pity for right then and there in the moment, but that pity is gone the next day. So no one's going to save you. Take responsibility and do what's right for you. Build a new identity so that individuals can't recognize you, and you can just, walk around this world in peace.
The focus is just leveling up, cause I know the life I want, I'm just setting it up. Removing those that's close who try messing it up. Can't wait for champagne toast with the relevant bunch. Like, what's up? Yeah, like what you do, homie? What's your vision? How you thinking? How you move, homie? And is you cool, homie? You thinking building, then that's something we could do, homie.